Chapter 766. How did Aton's interrogation go? It went well. Kishi replied calmly, his demeanor so nonchalant one might have mistaken the topic for something as mundane as inquiring if he had eaten. Did he discover anything? As much as the current situation allowed, perhaps? Kishir was known to be extraordinary, but Aton was no ordinary man either. What had they discussed and what had been uncovered? Was there anything related to the strange crack in the information he had discovered? Amidst his anxiety and curiosity, Yidhir managed to maintain his composure as he inquired. May I hear it right away? Before that, I would like to hear what my assistant has learned first. Cross-referencing our information will be necessary. Yidhir slightly furrowed his brow. Asking for information sharing before reporting was an unusual oversight. Even his attempts at staying composed seemed futile the moment he thought of the abnormal crack. I apologize for not informing you first. There wasn't much information beyond our expectations. There is no need for apologies. I'm well aware of how much my assistant is on edge about this matter. Kishi raised his hand, interrupting gently but firmly. Yidhir looked into his eyes and nodded slowly. Yes. Kishir once again silently comforted Yidhir with a reassuring touch, as steadfast as if it would never falter. So, what did you find out? Yidhir, recalling those he had investigated, summarized the information gleaned from them. To start, Sir Radl's involvement with Baron Conche and the Southerners began about a year ago, following a similar pattern to a previous incident. Now that he's opened up, it's likely he will soon start naming other sympathizers. As for the Star of Nagran, it seems they were indeed motivated by the Sage's influence, though the Southern base's involvement appears to be due to the Southerners' reach. So, the Southern base followed both the Sage and the Southerner intentions? Kishi asked with keen interest. Yes, according to the Southern base, their initial aim was just to assist those infiltrating the cavalry. It turned into this mess due to the Southerners' temptations and requests. Considering what the informants revealed, they probably said they had helped before and now it was their turn to receive aid. It made sense to harm the cavalry, which the Sage was targeting, so there was no reason to refuse. Exactly that. Sarah tried to conceal as much as she could about the Sage and their own bases while discussing the Southerners. However, having already heard the stories of those who were in the Star of Nagran, filling in the gaps and drawing conclusions wasn't too challenging. Kishi muttered with a slight smile. After all the effort to have everything ruined by an unexpected move and the variable of the Southerners, the Sage returning home must be quite dismayed. Though he spoke of dismay, his tone lacked any semblance of sympathy. Considering those we captured attempting to attack us in the west, it won't be difficult to link the Sage, and further to the forces of Duke Diarca and the Crown Prince. And the leader of the Southern base seemed genuinely unaware of the strange crack phenomena. However, from what I gathered, the Southerners never intended to die from the start. This was the crucial part Yidhir had sought to uncover during his investigation. The Southern base side was oblivious to the Southerners' possession of magic power medium, hearing only repeated assurances of a route for retreat after the attack. Even in moments of peril, they kept asking when the promised retreat would happen, only to be told soon, right before the crack phenomenon occurred. So you mean? Yes, it seems they deliberately created the crack to escape amidst the chaos of monsters falling from it. Who would have thought that a persistent, bizarre crack would appear in the middle of the city, raining down giant monsters? If not for Yidhir and Kishir's presence, the perpetrators would have achieved their goal without any trouble. Even in my previous life, I never thought such an event could be orchestrated. Back then, I would have been too busy understanding the situation to pay attention to them. If things got rough, they were planning to use the Star of Nagran as a shield to escape. Not just if things got rough, it's highly likely their plan was to push them into a corner from the start and escape alone. But it didn't go as planned. Looking back, everything was overwhelmingly against the southern base. The Southerners had egged them on to collaborate but barely exerted any effort during the battle, cunningly observing the situation. It was a clear sign of betrayal. So, this is just my speculation, but Yida glanced around before continuing. They had just emerged from underground, passing the place they had walked earlier. Nearby, Elpkins was clattering on a roof fixing it. Everyone was busy with their own tasks, paying no mind to Yidr and Kishir's presence. The scene looked peaceful and bright, yet Yidr's eyes were drawn to the haunting afterimage of the dark crack that had ominously existed right in front of that roof. Yidr traced the outer image and whispered softly, audible only to Kishir. Their death occurred not just after realizing there was no escape when captured, but after hearing Aton's words from me, remember? That's right. Among the many thoughts he had over the past few days, a hypothesis had crystallized during today's investigation. This conversation was indeed the crux of today's matter. I always thought of those two as linked, but today's investigation made me wonder if that might not be the case. Hearing Aton's words from Yidr and realizing they were already captured by the cavalry, choosing death to protect their secret seemed a natural course. But why would they, capable of attempting death at any point after being subdued, chose that exact moment for their demise? Was there another reason? Yidr recalled the Southerners chanting in their strange language before willingly ending their lives, his gaze dropping. His eyes, heavy with thought, seemed to emit dark smoke. The reason they chose to end their lives might have been to hide the truth about the crack, but perhaps their deaths themselves served as a catalyst drawing monsters from the crack. Indeed, at the moment the southern merchants perished, monsters emerged from the previously inert crack. To call it mere coincidence seemed too convenient. It was hard to consider this during the heat of battle against the monsters, but as today's investigation focused on the southern merchants' behavior and actions, their significance became increasingly apparent. Aton spoke of creating the land of the Black Moon through the aftermath of imbalance. If this land of the Black Moon was where the strange cracks and monsters appeared, then the imbalance must be the cause of their creation. In the Great Serene Forest, where similar anomalies had occurred, the magic power was distorted and imbalanced, unable to circulate properly. What if the death of these merchants and the artifact they possessed were the necessary elements to replicate such a situation in the south? ... Put simply, it's like a sacrificial offering needed to activate a magic circle. Yidr remembered watching closely when the Western Mage Union was repairing a magic circle. Operating such a circle required immense magic power necessitating various materials, including magic stones imbued with magic power. If such preparations were needed to summon and use something, then those planning to create the land of the Black Moon must have needed something as well. From the beginning, the fact that the strange crack occurred intentionally by someone was something that could not even be imagined before. So, no matter how excessive the thought, it was considered that the possibility should not be completely closed. After hearing Yidr's words, Kishir remained silent for a while. It was only after he entered his office and the door closed with a sound that he finally spoke. I too had similar suspicions while investigating Aton. Yidr looked up sharply. There was no trace of the softness that had been in Kishir's eyes before. He said that all the conditions had been met and that it would be futile for me to do anything now. That means... I took it to mean that a new strange crack and more monsters will soon appear in the south. Yidr's blood ran cold. Kishir's moving lips were the only thing he could see. Everything else was a blur.